Welcome to the Pawn Sacrifice channel and part 35 of the 924S Turbo Build. Had to think about the number there, it's been a little while again. I have a good excuse this time for my absence, and that is that I've been putting up another structure, shed, to house a load of stuff so that I can move things out of here because it was getting very cramped, whereas now I have space, particularly around here. So this was a 2.5 Porsche engine, and this was where there was another Porsche engine. There was welders all over the place. To be honest, a lot of this has come out of the need to house the equipment better, and yeah, and it's also given me a lot more space to work. So that's that. Enough of my life story. What are we doing today? So now we are on to the turbo downpipe in particular, which means that this is going to be a welding video, and that, if you're just dropping in here for this, you're going to think, oh yeah, okay, great, welding. If you've been with me from the start, you know where this is likely to end up. But yeah, so the idea is, or the idea was, I've got a I've had to, just for where everything fits and or doesn't fit, particularly with the manifold, I've had to go back to the K03S turbo rather than the K04, which I bought and then rebuilt, and then found that doesn't fit the manifold, and that's a whole new load of mess, and I just want to get on with things, as I know you probably do. So this is a standard or replacement, I think it's a DCAT downpipe, dump pipe, whatever it's called, and going from 3" at the turbo to 2.5" where the exhaust is. This isn't going to fit by a long margin. I think, you know, it sort of sits that way up. I'll show you what it's going to look like. So I did have a look and thought about buying a load of stainless steel off of the internet, and it's very expensive, and then looking at buying the flanges, and they're even more expensive. So I think probably the easiest way for me to do this is just to essentially use what I've got here, cut it as and where I think I need to, and just essentially put the sections together. I've got another load of stuff here, so essentially I've got two lots of exhaust which I've bought for the different turbos, so I'm hoping the combinations of all this is going to allow me to build something that's going to go down there. So let's have a look. So that will essentially go on there, and then the pipe to come down. So I'm going to have a look and see what options I've got for this, and then look at getting the first bit tacked in. This so this bad boy is off of the K04, or not off of, it's designed for the K04 turbo, although the flange is a lot smaller on the one that I need. Actually, it's still a 3" pipe. So that's got a nice angled section off of the flat, which I think is probably what I'm going to want. So I think what I'm going to try and do is cut this around here, and then cut across that weld, hopefully cleanly, and then see what I can do about getting this then flange taken off and getting those two pieces together, and I think that'll be my starting point. do that one here and then do the 90° after that to then send it down. I'm just going to have a quick look at sizing and then we'll see about that. Yeah, I'm going to give that a go. If it doesn't work because there's not enough space, then I'll just have to bring it back. Yeah, in fact, I think I'll do this bit first, have a look with the other piece, the other 90°, and then see where I want to do this one. Right, to give me the best chance of getting down, I'm going to cut this section off from here, but actually what I think I'm going to do is check the sizing and position to make sure from where that is that there's enough space for it to go down. Whether I use the bottom bit of this or not, I don't know. I quite like the idea of having the flexi joint in there, but where that's going to be positioned I'm not quite sure. So yeah, I'm going to get this cut as neatly as possible and then check. Right then, I have obviously just marked this up now in position. I've got this about as flat and square. There's a bit of movement, it's not 100% flat, but the gaps are very small. I should have bought the more expensive, wider lineature that was at least that width across, but I didn't, so there's no point crying over that now. For lighting it's a bit different. A wasp just flew fast and I was holding this and decided to swat it with that and took out one of the lights. So violence is not the answer. Anyway, wasp piece summits aside, I don't have back purging, so I've got the TIG welder that I'm going to use for this. Could have gone with MIG, but going to use the TIG instead. Set up, got the argon, but haven't got a back purging set up. So what I am going to try is use some brazing flux for this. Essentially this will go on the inside and it will stop it from, hopefully stop it from sort of going all crusty. Just have a look at Fabrication Series and their stuff on TIG welding stainless steel, or welding stainless steel, and why back purging is so important. Don't have that, and again, if this needs redoing at a later date, it needs redoing at a later date. Right now it's just getting on with things. So to that end, I'm going to shut up, get myself set up, and yeah, get actually started on some welding. One method that I'd seen for this, which seemed to work, is for the heat dissipation, is to weld it in sections. The other advantage of having tacks in is it gives a place that you can stop without getting the little pinholes. So if you're getting those, this is a good way to get around that. Oh yeah, so it's important for this to be really clean. So what I'm doing is, just with the tacks in place, is just going around now that it's locked into position. Want to get the outside cleaned. Oh, and this has been checked for positioning on the car, just to make sure that now the tacks are on, or the first few tacks are on, that everything's right before I carry on. Clearly some very poor technique going on here, and at this point I probably should have stopped and reassessed, but I pressed on like a trooper. And ended up with a big old hole. Here I'm trying to just not throw everything about. I'm doing a voiceover just to cover off the amount of swearing that was going on here. Yeah, this was really, really poor on my part. So the reason, this is the first time that I've blown through since I've been trying to weld this stuff, which is really frustrating. The reason for grinding it back isn't vanity, it was just to check, because I suspected, as is the case here, that the weld's not great, so there's a bit of a crack there. So I just needed to work out what I need to go through. So just for full transparency, that's what why I'm doing that. This bloody stuff that's designed to stop the welds from making a mess on the back is where there are slight gaps. I think it's drawing it through and it's making more of a mess of the welds. So yeah, I'm gonna need to be patient here, I think. Okay, so usual welding stories for me. Didn't go well and had a bit of a tantrum in the middle there. To be honest with you, I've been up since ridiculous o'clock and quite tired. Although that's no excuse really. I don't understand what goes on with me. Essentially, I had a piece like this. This is a bit of life story now. Section like that, which I'd cut and then welded together, and then cut it again and then welded together, and then cut it down the middle and welded it together with that stuff on it. And I didn't blow through once, did I? Is that like, I may have done one or two little holes, but nothing like as bad as I did on here, which was hopefully out of shot, because I may have had to have put it in otherwise, where I'm just getting really, really agitated. So one side of it, essentially what happened is, because these are from different pipes, they're ever so slightly different sizes, although they say that they're the same size, although they're both supposed to be 3-inch, they're slightly different. So yeah, so essentially was being a complete nightmare, and that was quite staggered, so that was almost like a not butt joint, but yeah, that was where the two bits overlap, so there were gaps there which I was then blowing through, which was a bit of a nightmare. What I've done is ground a load back and then just gone over some stuff again. At the end, when I was going over some of the bits, it was just where I wasn't convinced that the edge was connected properly. But yeah, this is I guess the home straight, where things were actually set up nicely and were a bit better. Actually, the welds have been a lot more reasonable, and this was kind of what I was getting the other day. I'll be interested to see how much gas comes hurtling out of the side of this. Okay, so had a look underneath, and this is where the pipe's coming out, so I'm probably going to cut it in the middle, just keep that flexi joint in. There's some space back here that I can lob the cat in before the end of the exhaust, so I'm going to go and see what I can find, get that ordered up. The good thing with having the the downpipe in where it is I now can see exactly where the spacing is for everything else, which is a bonus. So there's some other jobs and things that I can get on with, which should be relatively quick. So I think what I'm going to do is call it here. So rather than cutting and shutting the exhaust now and then having to come back and do it again, I'm going to get that done. I think I might get a wider belt sander as well. It's a bit annoying having just bought that one, but I think part of where this is coming from, the problems I had with the welding of the gaps, so I really need to close those down. So I'm going to get that done. If you're still here, apologies for any tantrums and emotional bits, which I'll probably leave in if they're there. If not, then you'll be saved that. But yeah, me and welding. Anyway, I guess we've all got to start somewhere, and in fairness, you know, that's what these projects are for, is to go through, and I suspect when I get to the stage where I'm turning the key, I'm probably going to find a load of other stuff once the engine's going. Yeah, we'll see. So that's why I just want to push on with this now. Yeah, anyway, enough on the welding issues, but you know, despite everything that I've done, if you want to give it a go, don't let me put you off by any chance. I seem to have a problem when you point the camera at me. There we go. But anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and hopefully catch you again soon. Bye now.